welcome everybody. So Manette and I am quickly just going to show you, because we know this is like a stress situation, right? And this is now your 10, 15 seconds to fame for when you get to walk across the stage. So please stick to the red carpets. You will follow them. So you'll line up from the bottom, come up the stairs. All of you received a little ticket with your name and your number. Miss Monica Yanta, we had a special guest come in as well to announce your name. You'll give that ticket to her. She will say, Miss Kilian, then you walk up. Take your time. Until here. Yeah, you can wave, do a little dance. Not you, it's fine. Then you'll get to here. So we'll line you guys up 5 at a time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There will be your campus management, HODs, all of them will be lined up here for a nice photo. They will be on here. You give your band to them. Okay, go fast. You stand. You smile. Thank you. We'll put your band around you. And then you can look straight in front. Forget about the other people, your parents, nobody else. Just look straight in front. Nike will be at the back there, taking all the pretty pictures that you will ever need. Okay, so then Nike will shout and say, we're done, and you'll get a tap, and you walk away. Okay, and off to the next. Any questions? Are you good? Perfect. That's all from our side. Please enjoy. Like I said, this is your ceremony. Please enjoy. It's your moment. And then we'll get this thing started. Okay, good point. Manette also just mentioned, if you did not yet take your photos this morning, there might be some of you. Nike will also be in the classroom still for the rest of the session afterwards, so you can just fall in line there again. Okay? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. We'll give an opportunity now for the procession to enter. Can everybody just stand, please? Please remain standing for the national anthem, okay?
Juventud
Nou is ek ook important. Ek staan langs belangrike mense hier hoor. Sure. Just welcome again. Welcome to all the VIPs. Welcome to the parents, family. Welcome to you students. And welcome to the lecturers and everyone affiliated with all the colleges. Welcome. Just a nice big applause for everyone. We will now do the national anthem.
Inkosi sikileli Afrika, malupakan ismupundulwayo, Yeswa imitandazo yetu, kozi sikilela tina lusapalwayo, burena bule sichaba sa Jesu ufeti sedin twale matwenye hubu sebuluke sichaba sa Jesu sichaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Mighty blow van onze hemel, uit die diepte van ons ziel, oor ons eeuwige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa. Our land.
I would like to welcome Miss. You may be seated. I would like to welcome Miss Cindy Lingela, please.
By the authority vested in me as the chairperson of the Boland College Council, I hereby constitute this gathering as the official Boland College Diploma and Certificate Ceremony 2023. Please proceed to confer the certificates and diplomas to all candidates presented. Note that candidates in absentia's names also appear in the program. I now request that all candidates be introduced.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Mr. Charles Goodwin, Principal of Boland College, please.
Thank you, Program Director. Honourable Council Chair, Ms. Ngela, esteemed college management and staff, college principals in attendance, distinguished guests seated to my right, the SRC President and members of the SRC, and Vice President, parents and guardians, event sponsors, and most important, our graduating class of 2022. Good morning, welcome. Wamkelekile, bye, welcome. My name is Charles Gooden, I'm the college principal. It's really a pleasure to play the part of making the opening address and welcome today. And I'd like to make a very warm and heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you on this momentous occasion, the graduation ceremony of Boland College. And I'm sure you'll recognize our program director, Mr. Merlin Bailey, who is a celebrated actor in South African media. He's been in many very famous shows like Sevendelaan and Ardens Flay and so on. Welcome to you, sir. And I know my wife won't forgive me if I don't take a selfie before I go home tomorrow. But very welcome, and thank you for availing yourself for that very important function of our program director. Now, besides being the first face-to-face graduation since the pandemic, can you believe it? Seems like a distant memory, but you're very privileged, our graduates today, to be the first group. That's in face-to-face, I should say. But we also, it's the very first time that we're hosting our 10 visually impaired students from the Hein Wagner Academy. Not today, they'll be in tomorrow's session. We're also delighted to extend a very special welcome to Mr. Hein Wagner himself, who's our keynote speaker today. Mr. Wagner is sitting next to Ms. Ngela. And Mr. Wagner, I really hope that you'll be pleased to note that we specially prepared programs for our visually impaired students in Braille to make sure that they can fully participate in the event and the sessions tomorrow, and we've also made a copy for you. Friends, let's give Mr. Wagner a very special and warm welcome, please. It's with immense joy and pride that I stand before you today as we gather to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our graduating students. To the graduating class of 2022, I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations. This day marks the culmination of years of dedication and hard work and perseverance. Many of you were starting your career at the college in the COVID times, which is a very difficult time, we know, but you've persevered. And many students in the country dropped out, but you stuck to it. So I think you can give yourselves a round of applause for that. But not only have you navigated academic life, but you've also embraced opportunities for personal growth and development. And your journey through Boland College has been marked by academic success, participation in sporting and cultural activities, as well as leadership development. And I've got no doubt that you'll continue to make us proud as you step out into the world beyond these walls. But today is not just about certificates and diplomas, it's about the experiences you've gained, the friendships that you've forged, and the knowledge that you've acquired. As you prepare to embark for the next chapter of your life, remember that the challenges you face will serve as stepping stones to success. And your time at Boland College has equipped you with the skills and perspectives necessary to tackle the challenges of the world of work, to innovate and contribute positively to society. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the unwavering support and encouragement provided by your lecturers and your parents, guardians and family members, and friends that have stood by your side throughout the journey, and your guidance and sacrifices have played an integral role in shaping the graduates that we celebrate today. Let's all express our gratitude to them with a resounding round of applause, graduates. Friends, recently I read a book by John C. Maxwell called Today Matters. He's a wonderful author. I highly recommend him to anybody who wants to read up anything about leadership. But Maxwell highlights 12 daily practices for success, and growth is one of them. And in his book, Maxwell tells the story of the ancient Tatar tribes of Central Asia, who are reputed to have used a particular curse against their enemies. And in this curse, they didn't call for the swords to rust, or the people to die of disease, or for them to drop dead, or anything like that. They simply said, may you stay in one place forever. Now, they understood well that movement and growth meant life and sustenance to their families and livestock. So if you don't grow, you'll end up stuck in the same place, doing the same things, with the same dreams, and never fulfilling your destiny. So keep growing. Remember that learning is lifelong, and you should never be satisfied with the knowledge that you already have. Embrace every opportunity to grow, adapt, and thrive. Your education doesn't end here. It's merely a stepping stone to greater horizons. Because the world is evolving rapidly, and you have the potential to shape the course with your unique perspectives and contributions. There was a very famous Russian playwright called Anton Chekhov, and he once said this: if there's a rifle hanging on the wall in Act 1 of a play, and it must be fired in the next act, otherwise it has no business being there. And ever since reading that quote, I've always watched movies differently from that point, because they always leave clues along the way. But I think what he was saying in our context is that, simply put, if your qualification is basically useless if it's just hanging on the wall, you need to put it into use. So don't just display your qualification. As proud of it as you ought to be, you must put it into use in the next act of the play, which is the next chapter of your life. So, in conclusion, let me once again extend my heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2022, and as you move forward, carry the values instilled within you during your time here: integrity, compassion, and a thirst for knowledge. Remember, Boland College will always be your home, and we eagerly await news of your future achievements. So, let's revel in the celebration of accomplishment, bid farewell to the familiar, and embrace the excitement of the unknown. Congratulations, graduates, and may your future be filled with abundant success and fulfillment. I thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Goodwin, for that very insightful words. I hope you guys took some mental notes. Yeah, just before we move on, just a small little joke. So this light here was somewhere in the living room somewhere playing computer games, and his dad walked in. And the dad was not so happy about it. So he said, listen, when Abraham Lincoln was your age, he studied in the light of the fire. The lighty thought for a few seconds. He looked up to his dad and he said, yeah, but when he was your age, he was the President of the United States. So yeah. I would like to call on Mrs. Wendy Adams to introduce the guest speaker, please. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the privilege to introduce our esteemed guest, a blind man with vision. He has been blind since birth. Through hard work and sheer dedication, he completed a few extraordinary things. The Cape Epic, that's cycling. He ran the Antarctic Marathon, the 2 Oceans, and the some of New York marathons, as well as the full Ironman. He even challenged and completed Cape to Rio. That's a yacht race. Our guest speaker also holds the world blind land speed record at 322.52 kilometers per hour, and recently received the Golden Key from the University of Stellenbosch for his ongoing efforts towards social upliftment. The visionary is a living proof of hope and courage, as he believes that everything is possible, and he stands strong in it. This humble man does not allow his visual impairedness to stand in the way of his dreams, and therefore people often refer to him as the blind man with exceptional vision. Today, he is one of our heroes. Put your hands together and let us welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Hein Wagner.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Mr. Adams, and it's really great being here. The chair of the Council of Boland College, Mr. Charles Goodwin, SRC, all educators, and most important people in the room today, all the students that will be receiving their certificates and qualifications. So I'm really privileged to be here. And I have to be honest that I have never, ever seen so many good-looking, talented Labrador decided to take a shortcut through the graveyard. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that walks through the graveyard every day. In fact, I try to avoid it. But I have to follow my guide dog. I have no choice. And as I'm walking through the graveyard, I heard this voice saying, "Mourning." I said, no, I'm just passing through. I'm not mourning at all. Those of you that wonder, I was born blind, but I have never, ever allowed that to stand in the way of living a full and adventurous life. And today I want to leave with you one universal law that I live by, that have generated more light into my life than sight can ever begin to do. So I was born with a condition called Leber's congenital amaurosis. It meant that my eyes developed normally, however the receptive cells in my retinas never developed. That left me completely blind by birth. It left my parents completely freaked out because there was no registered blindness in our family, and mom and dad did not know what to do. I had an ordinary life back at home for the first 5 years, hanging out of my sighted friends. Since I was out of my diapers, playing around, everything could look the way I choose it. The world was a magical place. And at the age of 5, my parents discovered a tiny little school in a dorpie called Worcester, not so far from Cape Town, and there was a school that could educate blind children, cater for the all-inclusive needs of the blind. So my second biggest traumatic experience was arriving at blind school and going to boarding house. Think about it, for the first 5 years of my life back at home, I could find my way to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to my bedroom, that deep dark cave I never ever wanted to leave to face the bright lights of society. And mom said to me, "No, you have to stay at school and do your schoolwork." I was so lost at boarding house, I couldn't find my way to my bedroom. Some days I couldn't find my way to the bathroom in time, but at least I got an excuse. I can't see what it is, so it helps a little bit. Soon I realized all these blind kids are walking around the school grounds making funny noises. One would click his tongue. Another one would slap with his hand on his thigh. I phoned my mom. I said, "Ma, is this school for mal children or blind children? Why are they clicking their tongues?" Soon I realized if I don't click my tongue whilst walking down the passage, all these blind buggers get walking into me. So I started making noises to avoid them. The only thing I wanted to do at blind school was get out of there and go back home to my normal life. But I had to wait 5 weeks as a 5-year-old. Do you know how long 5 weeks is as a 5-year-old kid? It was forever. And I counted the days because I had to stay 5 weeks because I told my parents they cannot remove me at this young age or so quickly. I have to stay at least 5 weeks before I go back home the first weekend. So that weekend came, I got back home. I was in the driveway of the house. I was so excited to meet my sighted friends whom I knew since I was in my diapers. And I experienced my single biggest traumatic experience. These sighted kids completely, totally rejected me from their little playgroup. I couldn't understand it. You guys knew I was blind when I left 5 weeks ago. Nothing has changed. Why am I not welcome into your group? And as I stood there, I could hear they're all on their little bicycles, having a jolly good time, cycling up and down the road, chasing one another. And I'm thinking, my only way back into this group is on a bicycle. Well, 5-year-old blind kids, blind children, do not own bicycles. Unless your parents are fairly sadistic, You're not going to own a bicycle as a blind 5-year-old. My brother, of course, owned one. I took it out the garage. It was twice my size. I pushed it up and down the driveway, and I decided today I'm going to get onto this bike, and these sighted kids will accept me back in. 2 hours later, the tears are running down my face as I'm still walking up and down the driveway with this bicycle, knowing that this is impossible. 3 hours later, I was about to grab that bicycle and throw it as hard and as far as 2 5-year-old arms can throw a bicycle. To give up and say, this is not going to work. I can't do this. I cannot. And as I picked that bicycle up, a tiny voice in the back of my head said, take just 4 more steps. Within those 4 paces, I could hear as clearly as daylight the reflection of the noise coming off the bicycle's chain and the gears bouncing against the pavement, dancing back into my ears. And I realized if I focus hard enough on that tiny little noise, I can use it to cycle in a straight line. 2 weeks later, I was going up and down the driveway. 3 weeks later, I took that same bicycle out onto the road. I was challenging all these sighted kids and said, come on, guys, do you want to dice me? I promise I'll keep my eyes closed. I won't cheat. Most of them didn't take up the challenge. So my single vision at blind school was to be able to see. I wanted to see absolutely everything. I wasn't going to miss anything that this world presents in a visual way. But I had no idea how I was going to achieve that. I thought the reason I came to blind school was to learn how to see. And I remember sitting in our physiology class back at school. We had physiology at blind school, not biology. And the simple reason for that was the teachers couldn't find a strong enough microscope for the blind kids. So they said, we'll deal with physiology. And this particular morning, our teacher is discussing the functionality of the eye. Well, 20 of us are bored out of our brains. Who wants to know about the eye if it doesn't even work? Who cares about the cornea? But some things he said that morning in the classroom struck a chord with me, and it brought this question up in my mind. How many kids are actually born with this eye disease, LCA? And I thought, wow, what a neat idea. I need to go research this. So I sneaked out the classroom, made my way to the library. By the way, our physiologist blind, she never saw me leaving. It was incredible having blind teachers who could easily pull the wool over their eyes. 15 of us in the classroom, 10 sneak out, go sit in the sun, and the 5 that stays behind goes, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. I made my way to the library, dusted off a number of Braille books, because believe me, if you try and read a Braille book under the dust, it becomes an incredibly long story. You never get to the real point. But after some research that day, I discovered that only one out of 80,000 kids are born with LCA. I had a choice that day. I could either see this as the most negative thing I've ever discovered, or I could embrace it with absolutely everything I own and say, hang on high, and the fact that you're different to 80,000 kids is the most unique, the most special, and the most positive thing you've ever discovered. Let me be brutally honest with you. The single most difficult decision I've made to date. But the one thing that I've learned in life, if you make a decision based on your gut feeling, that feeling from deep within, stick to that decision, because it might just be the best one you've ever made. And as a blind kid, just down the road here in blind school, I discovered in my final years at school, the only bridge, the 2 pillars that holds up the bridge for me to be dependent on the sighted world or cross that bridge and be completely independent is education and technology. And I fell in love with the latter. I wrote my final exams more than 30 years ago on a desktop PC. I moved back to Cape Town, enrolled for every single computer training course I could lay my hands on at any institution that was willing to take me. Now the landscape has changed. The blind is even integrated into Boland College with the help of this wonderful team of educators. I don't want to highlight anyone in particular, but this team, the Boland College management team, and a lot of the educators have been working with us at the academy to bring education, tertiary education, to the blind in the highest possible quality. And we are very grateful for that. But back then, it wasn't so easy. I had to go and I did these computer training courses. My CV was looking great. I was mailing off course after course, grades after grades. I was mailing my CV out to hundreds of companies. I never got a letter of regret. I never even got a phone call to state we don't want you. I was living with my parents back from boarding house for 18 months, and I wanted to have some self-esteem, get a job. And I continued to mail out that same piece of paper, and I sat up in my bed one morning as I realized that something is wrong. What's going to happen to you for the rest of your life? Are you going to lie on your parents' neck? What are you going to do as a blind person? And as I sat in my bed that morning, I realized there's a big mistake on my CV. It's only 3 words. It reads blind since birth. So you know what I did? I just deleted it. And within 5 days, sending out the same piece of paper, I had 4 interviews lined up in the CBD of Cape Town. And I felt quite chuffed about it because none of those people knew it was a blind guy on his way to the interview. So there I was, taking the bus to Belleville Station, on the train to Cape Town. I was walking up Strand Street. And as I was about to turn into the offices where I was about to have my interview, I bumped into a blind friend of mine. It wasn't too difficult. He didn't see me coming. He said, "Hein, I haven't seen you in a while." I'm like, "Buddy, I've never seen you before, but I'm okay." So he said to me, "Hein, you know, there's a guy who wants to sail from Cape Town to Rio with 2 blind guys on board a yacht." I'm like, "What are you reading? Did they now print the son in Braille?" He said, "No, Hein, this is..." I said, "But how are we going to do this?" He said, "Well, if you're good enough, arrive at the Royal Cape Yacht Club on Saturday morning, and you'll be on board that yacht." I did arrive with that attitude that I am good enough, because I decided I'm good enough. I shook the captain's hand. I got on board the yacht. I literally crawled on my hands and my knees, exploring that entire yacht, every single square centimeter. And I knew that if I know the functionality, I'll be selected to be part of this crew. I was selected to be part of the crew. We crossed the Atlantic, and I remember being halfway on the way to Rio, 1,000 nautical miles to the nearest piece of land. I was sitting on board the yacht. I was playing around with the echo sounder, a tiny piece of equipment that could effectively read up to 4 kilometers, and that morning couldn't reach the bottom of the ocean. Do you have any idea what happened to me with 4 kilometers of water underneath me, 1,000 nautical miles to the nearest piece of land? I realized how small I am in this beautiful creation that I live in. And at the same time, I also realized that I could become and I could achieve whatever I want to in this lifetime if I'm prepared to do 2 things. First of all, if I'm prepared to put my mind to it. And second of all, if I'm actually prepared to work for it. In Dr. Wayne Dyer's words, and I live by this particular quote, he says that if you can conceive it, actively believe in it, and most importantly, act upon it, no matter what it is, my friend, you certainly will achieve that. So I did achieve a career in IT. I worked in IT for many years. The last 18 years, I've been traveling the world, doing inspirational talks the world over, to corporates, educational institutions, the world over. And yes, in a way, I'm seeing the world, obviously from my perspective. But I want to close off with a little story that one of the most significant experiences in my life. As I was doing a presentation in Mumbai, India, my host said to me, "Hein, I don't know if you know this, but on the outskirts of Mumbai is a tiny little school. In this school, there's only 40 kids." And I said, "But that's small for a country with a huge educational need." He said, "Yes, but these 40 kids, Hein, happen to be deaf and blind." I just want you to consider that for a moment. Deaf and blind. You know, my personal biggest asset is my sense of hearing. The tapestry of the world that I experience every day starts with audio, and then the other senses take over. And then it paints the picture. So I'm thinking, please take me to the school. So I meet this gentleman. He's been at the school for 35 years. He started off as an 8-year-old kid. He's completely deaf and completely blind. He sits in front of an ordinary-looking computer. Big screen in front of him that you can look over his shoulder whilst he's typing on a normal touch-type keyboard. There's a tiny braille display below his fingers that I can put my fingers on and feel what he says in real time. He went on to achieve a master's degree in education, completely deaf and completely blind. What do you think was my first question to him, having the opportunity to type on this giant of a man's keyboard? "Sir, how on earth did you achieve a master's degree in education? You're completely deaf and completely blind." We swap hands. He starts typing. He says, "Hein, you have to understand the deaf-blind person, world's beginnings, ends as far as his or her fingers can reach. And within that, we have to educate." So I swap hands again, and I said, "But how do you do this?" He said, "Well, we developed a tactile sign language. The kids physically hold hands. And by moving their fingers, they can feel what the other child is saying." And he said, "Would you speak to the kids for a few minutes, Hein?" I said, "But it's impossible." He said, "No, the first guy can hear. There's 40 of them sitting in a big circle. Number 1 can hear what I'm saying. Then they're holding hands, and later number 2, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 7 to 8. It takes about 9.5 minutes for the last guy to catch the joke. But you know, he who laughs last in life laughs the longest, even at the deaf-blind school in Mumbai." I was so profoundly moved by that experience. And people often ask me, "Hein, if you had a choice, do you want to be deaf or do you want to be blind?" I can truly not answer you. But I can tell you this, the one thing that I do know is I do not want to be both deaf and blind. And that today brings me to that universal law that has generated more light into my life than sight can ever begin to do. And that, my friend, is the law of appreciation. Appreciate what you've got, because I promise you, there are hundreds, thousands, in fact, millions of people out there less fortunate than we are. And remember, the things that me and you, the things we take for granted, someone else right now is praying for. So when I was pushing that bicycle down the driveway, trying to get on it, the tears are running down my face. I was about to throw it away as hard and as far as 5-year-old arms can throw a bicycle. And if I threw that bicycle down at the age of 5, my life would have probably turned out differently. But you know what? I didn't. I took 4 more steps. I told you I could hear the clear clickety-click sound from the bicycle in my ears. Think about the things I had to deal with staying safe in that bike saddle. Oncoming cars, parked cars, pedestrians, lampposts, trees, you name them. Just consider, I was cycling up and down the road. I could hear the flower pots next to the street, and I could fly between them into the driveway, stop in front of the house, 10 centimeters in front of the front door, showing off in front of all these sighted kids, look at me, I can do what you can do. And for me to stay safe in that bicycle saddle, I only used 4 senses, because I only own 4 senses. My challenge to all of you today is just consider the results you can deliver in your educational career, in your business life, in your personal life, if you just start using all 5 yours on a daily basis. We all have challenges. I can't even begin to understand yours. But I can tell you this, the day that I started looking at this huge obstacle called blindness from a slightly different perspective, it became, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest opportunity I could ever dream for. Because if you change the way you look at things, I guarantee you the things you look at will change. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am blind. Exactly what is your excuse? I thank you.
One, two. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, Mr. Hein Wagner, for those very, very inspirational words. You are an inspiration. You inspired us. Thank you so much. Another warm applause, please. I would like to call on Mrs. Wendy Adams. I'm calling on the choir, please. Die koor maak die mense bietjie rumoerig. Hulle kan nie weer sing nie. That was beautiful. Thank you, guys. Thanks, choir. We will now start with the awarding of the certificates. We call upon Monica Yanta for the reading of the names, please.
The first certificates will be the N6 Business Management. Can Ms. Mapati, Mr. Mathieu, Ms. Van Voore, Ms. Stevens, and Mr. Davids please go to the front? Can Mr. Dirk Boer please come to the podium? He is the head of department for this course.
J.T. Abrams. C.S. Abrahamson. A.C.P. Hamilton. C.F. Ambral. J. Arnoldus.
Can we ask the audience to keep the applauding to the end of each section, please? Thank you.
M.J. Bogenhagen. C.K. Kurt. S. Dage. A.N. Davids. S.E. Jansen. S. Chobela. C.K. Ulis. S.S.B. Kona. E. Cordon. M.J.A. Cruz. A.M. Ponoshe. N. Lucy. E. Mkuba. A. O. Mgese. D. Moses. Naimbe, R.M. Miller, S.T. Oncheng, C.M. Silepe, T.N. Thompson. R.R. Terane, J.B. Voigt, D. Vin, C.W. Abrams, T. Abrams. C.E. Adams,
Reese, you can finish that one. That concludes our business management group. The next group of students will be our human resource management N6 students. Can Mr. Elof, Ms. October, Ms. McCombring, Ms. Mjedi, and Ms. Van Zyl please come to the front?
V.S. Africa, Z. Alberts, J. Ali, N.S. Alice. N.F. Apollos. B.U. Arendorf, A. Atolo, C.D. Bailey, A. Bailey, Z. Barney, A.Z. De Kok, W.A. de Villiers, Boerscroft, C.S. de Veer, J.N. Baxter, M.L. Blugnoot. C.R. Boyson, T.K. Brandt, V.W. Brecht, T. Brown, N. Kibedu. C.R. Damon, S. Daniels, R. Darris, B.S. Davids, A.K. Davids. Port, R. De Weer, A. Dixon, V. Zomo.
Thank you to our staff. You may Mr. Plaatjies, Ms. Van Vore, Dr. Ms. Stevens, please go to the
C. Brecht, Tia Esel, J. M. Fisher, J. Y. Fortuin. Q. Geta, M. L. Hof, Y. Guyana, D. A. Hearn. A. Hol- D. J. V. E. M. Jansen, L. A. Jansen. R.J. Jeftas, A.W. Joseph, Bert, A. Ulysse. C.S. Capel, W.B. Kelly, A.E.S. Klein, J.B. Lambert, T. Lambrecht.
Thank you to our staff. You may have a seat. Will Neil, Mr. Ice, please.
Do. Dolo. A.O. B. A. Magazi, L. Makaya, J. L. McCallum, T.J. Malandi. A. Martin, A. Hughes. G.N. McCallum, Y. Maka, N. A. N Mlonyeni. W Muhapi. SN Mukone. MF Mori. Moses. Z Mkakelana. N Mpambani. N Tipa. Z Denisa. RM Nell.
Thank you, gentlemen. You are now relieved. Can I please call on Andries Venter, Romania Baxter, Mr. Plaatjes, Mr. Vickers van der Westhuizen, and then Minette Kilian for the handover.
Einokanda. Onoko. Onokwa. El Nokwanda. Z Nomafuta. El Nhlate. CG Lof. N Tsonywan. S Nyitama. S Nyathela. In Willifan. C Willifan. L.A. Willifier. M Oosthuizen. S Papa. CFS Paulse. LN Bakir. N Peterson. CN Peterson. Z Pindela. Al Peterson, U Kabangele, MK Robertson, M.A. Matebula. O.M. Dita. T. Ngulu. Y. Pipise. P. Writers. F. Salis. E. S. Samuels. Z.K. Sele. A. Shoko. B. Sihlahla. E. A. Sikolake. A. Siqhaza. S. Siziba. K. N. Smith. G. Solomons. Y. Sondo. A. Sonkai.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can I call upon our campus management, Ms. Van Voore, Ms. Haman, Ms. Achona, Ms. Mjeri, and then Derek Mattia to join us on the podium, please?
B. Steegman. D. Steven. W.J. Dalmakis. N.M. Toto. P. Tuma. A. Tobias. C. S. Turin. C. Casey. A. K. van der Berg. L. van der Schijf. E.A. van Niekerk. W.C.L. van Oort. E.B. van Willing. E.G. van Wyk. Q.L. van Wyk. W. van Wyk. M.M. van Wyk. A.M. Veldsman, K. Visser, R. Volskey. A.G. Freisenberg, D.L. Washington, W. Wenzel, M.M. Willemse, C.H. Williams. C.S. Williams, K.G. Williams, A.A. Williams, S.A. Wildskut, P. Zimema. Team Nziba, S.L. Chovu, A. Zuzile,
Can we have another round of applause for all our human resource management students? Thank you to our staff, and thank you to Mr. Boer. We call upon Ms. Annelies van Zyl, as she is the head of department for the public management students, to hand over the scroll. And can we ask for Mr. Eis, Mr. Venter, Ms. Mpati, Ms. Baxter, and Ms. Stevens to the front, please. We now present to you the Public Management N6 graduates.
T. Bekapaya, N.L. Blekiwe, M. Brankes, E. Boy, N.H. Clayton, V.C. Kibedu, L.D. Davids, B. Abrams, D. Pecan, F. Z. Umats, J.B. Baikis, M.R. Jacobs, T. Kibedu, T.K. Du, C. Saunders, N. T. Brown, F. Fortuin, J. A. R. Hendricks, L. Madolwana, K. Dreyer, I. F. De Bruin, C. A. Ulis, R. E. A. Gartse, L. M. De Toy. S. N. Eland, D. R. H. Hartnick, E. B. Hendricks, N. Jiba, E. M. Woolman. N. Josie, S. R. Koopman, S. Lee,
Thank you to our staff. Can Mr. Davids, Mr. Elof, Mr. Plaatjes, Dr. Haman, and Mr. Chona please go to the front?
E. H. Konzani, T. W. Gordon, F. Key, S. G. September, M. D. Mahole, M. A. Mazutu, E. Abrams, L. Matupe, E. Dinguswayo, E. Machechisa, K Mchitakali, PN Dwaha, K Mengisi, B Mfiki, P Ndaka. CS Cluster, N Ngai, D Mpondwana, A Nani, N Nobongoza. O Nondala, I Mtsokwana, A Papasha, TS Ramutsamai, A Hohwana.
Tia, Mr. Boer, Mr. October, please go to.
NP Hueku, Z Sakwe, X Ndeta, N Sila, A Stau, L Stuma, D.A. Swartz, C.K. Swartz, C. Swartz, R.S. Denison, L.E. Manyongwana, A. Vavana, Lelo, Z. Vunati, S.N. Wapi, J.F. Williams, L. Koseni, S. Sophangisa, A. Noholoza, A. Sibali. K. Kiteng, Y. Zuzani, I. Zanti, NC Lindi, Z. Shabalala. ZS Sulelo, S. Zwelakhe,
Thank you. Congratulations, students. Well done. Give yourself another warm applause. We're calling on Mr. Goodwin and Mrs. Mpati to the stage to hand over the Top Achievers Awards, please.
Right, top achiever for business management, M. Cronje. Okay. Top achiever for public management, S.L. Flores. And the last one for this session, top achiever, human resource management, C.B. Boyson.
That's it. That's it. Well done, top achievers. Mr. Plaikis, for a word of thanks, please.
It's still good morning. Good morning. Distinguished guests, Boland College staff, proud parents, graduates, and our generous sponsors. Today, as we gather here to celebrate the remarkable achievement of our graduates, it's with a heart full of gratitude that I extend a sincere vote of thanks on behalf of Boland College. First and foremost, let us express our deepest appreciation to our graduates. Your dedication, perseverance, and hard work have brought you to this momentous day, and we are honored to have you been part of your journey. You are the reason we are gathered here, and your accomplishments inspire us all. To our distinguished guests, your wisdom, insights, and encouragement have added immense value to this ceremony. Your support for education and dedication to the betterment of our society is truly commendable. We are grateful for the invaluable support of our event sponsors, namely APSA, Sidebank, and Chint. Your partnership not only contributes to our student success, but also to the advancement of education as a whole. Your generosity is a shining example of corporate social responsibility. We also extend our gratitude to all the service providers who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes. From logistics to decor, catering to technical support, your efforts has culminated in the seamless execution of this event. Your professionalism and dedication have truly made a difference. And last, but certainly not least, a resounding applause for our marketing department. Your months of meticulous preparation, creative vision, and relentless dedication has made this event a resounding success. Your commitment to excellence and your passion for creating the best possible event have not gone unnoticed. As we reflect on this celebration, we are reminded that education is a collaborative effort. It takes the combined contribution of students, staff, sponsors, and supporters to make moments like this possible. Each one of you has played a vital role in shaping this occasion into the memorable milestone that it is. Thank you once again to everyone who has made this day memorable. Congratulations to the graduates, and travel safely home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plaatjes. We call on Miss Cindy Lingela to dissolute the ceremony, please.
Congratulations to all. By the authority vested in me as the chairperson of Boland College, I hereby close the ceremony of Boland College and wish everyone a very safe journey home.
Can everybody stand, please? Everybody sit again, please. And first to exit.